Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I am Steve Shaw, and this is the channel that actually lifts, guys. I actually lift things called barbells and dumbbells in the gym. In this video, I want to talk about over-bulking or bulking too aggressively. This is something I run into quite frequently. I got a question from a viewer this week who lost a decent amount of weight, 40 pounds. He was kind of sloppy beforehand. He lost the weight, got down to a relatively healthier weight, and he started bulking. Over the course of a 6-month period, he proceeded to pack on, I believe, 25, 30 pounds during a very aggressive bulk, and he got sloppy again. And he was wondering how he should bulk to avoid this, because no one wants to go from an overweight starting position, lose weight, and then try to build muscle and get back to that starting position where you're overweight and sloppy again, but maybe you have 5 pounds of muscle. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit in this video. This is actually something I run into quite a bit, and one of the issues is that guys are not educated with how fast naturally you can expect to build muscle. So I want to talk about that, and that'll help you set better standards with regards to how much weight to gain per month. Now I'm going to pull out my handy dandy shaker, which is filled with, I usually fill it with about that much coffee, a little bit of water to cool it down, and my protein powder of choice lately is Machine Whey cookies and cream anyway. Let's say you're going to gain muscle. You want to gain muscle and you're a natural, okay? This is your natural gains for the first year. On the average, you have the potential, and these are just general ballpark numbers, but they're backed by extensive studies by Dr. Casey Butt. You can Google, I know it's a silly name, we're all adults here though. You can Google Dr. Casey Butt, and he has done an extensive study on natural muscle building potential and how much muscle you can expect to gain during the first year. Now, on the average individual who's training properly, meaning maximizing sets, pushing for progression, etc., has a potential to gain 16 pounds of muscle mass during that first year. Has the potential. Most guys that I've seen who hit the gym don't reach that level. There are many, many guys who are extremely successful who do, but most of us just are trying to figure things out that first year, trying to figure out our nutrition, our diet plan, trying to figure out how hard to train in the gym, what the right way to train in the gym is. So most guys, are probably going to aim for 8 to 12, pounds of muscle during that first year in the gym. That's a good goal. If you hit that level during your first year in the gym, you are doing pretty good. If you hit that, if you do above that level, great job. Now here's the thing. Okay, with natural gains, you can only gain so much muscle mass. This is going to get some of you in an uproar, but it's a physiological reality, and I'm sorry to bring you back to earth and science, but you can't get as big as Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, or Phil Heath naturally. It's not possible, sorry. So, whatever your gains are the first year, let's look at the optimal gains. Okay, the optimal gains are 16 pounds. Okay, the second year, if you're running at an optimal rate, you can expect to gain about half of that level. It's a half-life. The body responds in very much a half-life manner when it comes to the muscle building process. So I'm just going to talk optimal here, and then I'll get into suboptimal, okay? If you are optimal and gaining about, this isn't a rule, a law, it's just a guideline, about 16 pounds of muscle that first year. The second year you can expect to gain about 8. The third year you can expect to gain about 4. The fourth year you can expect to gain about 2. And after that point, you're scrapping for ounces, guys. That's the physiological reality. This isn't just science, it's something I've lived personally. My first year in the gym, I accrued an amazing amount of muscle mass. Second year, a little bit, but it slowed. And after that point, I've been lifting for 29 years. After about the 5-year point, guys, I really haven't added much size at all. Maybe 2 pounds, maybe 3 pounds max in the last 24 years. I love the iron. I still train, but that's the reality. Okay, so suboptimal, guys, and we're getting to a point here, okay? After I explain this, I want to talk about diet, so hang with me. This is going to be a long video. If you run at a suboptimal rate, say only 10 to 12 pounds of muscle that first year, it's not a half-life, okay? Because you are at a suboptimal rate, you could potentially gain about the same amount of mass the second year because you ran suboptimal the first year. So this optimization formula where it's a half-life each year thereafter only works if you're running optimally. If you're running less than optimally that first year, you still have the potential to do great that second and third year. So, with that said, guys, let's talk about bulking. I really don't like the term bulking because I prefer that you guys approach the muscle building process from a long-term standpoint, eating clean, eating lean, digging in for the long term. But if you are building 8 to 12 pounds of muscle mass the first couple of years, okay, if you're building 8 to 12 pounds of muscle mass the first couple of years, you should be adding about 12 to 15 pounds a year, okay? This is a little bit suboptimal. Okay, so that's a little over a pound to maybe a pound and a half most a month the first year. Okay, that's going to be 12 to 18 pounds of weight gained, and that's going to be about 8 to 12 to, a little bit more pounds of muscle mass accrued if you are training properly. If you are running optimally, if you can tell right out of the gate you're packing on muscle mass and you think you have a chance to get to that 16 pounds your first year, about that 16 pounds your first year, you should gain about 20 to 24 pounds. You should aim to gain about 20 to 24 pounds of weight that first year, okay? Now, some of that's going to be fat, okay? If you're running optimally, you're looking at gaining 4 to 5 pounds of fat that first year. And the second year, if you're running optimally, your goal is 8 pounds of muscle mass. If you're running suboptimally, your goal is probably 8 to 10 pounds of muscle mass. So, in either case, your second year, you should probably aim to gain about a pound a month. So the first year is about a pound and a quarter, a pound and a half a month, depending on if you're a slow gainer or a rapid gainer. The second year, about a pound a month max, no matter who you are, okay? So, after that point, it's about a half pound a month, and after that, you're on your own. You should be an intermediate lifter, and you should have this stuff figured out yourself. So let's look at the first 2 years. Let's say you're a suboptimal gainer. You've only added about 10 pounds your first year, and your second year you added about 8 pounds. So let's say during that period of time you aim to gain 1 pound of muscle, 1 pound of weight each month for 2 years. During that period of time, you're going to gain about 18 pounds of muscle. During that period of time, you're going to gain about 6 pounds of fat. This is a good ratio for a lean, clean bulk. Gaining 18 pounds of muscle and gaining 6 pounds of fat is going to make you look 10 times better than you do now. Just because you're adding a little bit of fat, don't panic. It's not going to make you look sloppier because of all the muscle you're adding relative to that small amount of fat. You are going to look much, much better. I know I've been through it myself. This is how I did my clean bulk way back in 1986 and 1987. You're adding so much muscle mass, it's going to minimize that fat that you have on your body, and you're going to look good, guys. You're going to look much better. Plus, the amazing thing is that after 2 to 3 years of clean lean bulking, or 3 to 4 years of clean lean bulking, you only have 6 to 8, maybe 10 pounds max of fat to lose. and that'll only be like a 4-6 week cut. And when that's gone, guys, you look good. You have this body you've had, this amazing body you've built for the rest of your life. So during this process, this clean, lean, bulking process, if you know you're a fast gainer, look to try to add about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a month. If you don't really know and you're a suboptimal gainer, which most of us are, start out with about 1.25 pounds a month. And if you find you simply don't feel like you're adding much mass at all, just slow it down to 1 pound a month till you hit that groove, till you feel like you're hitting the groove with training, etc., etc. Now, let's talk. This is getting long, I know, guys, but hang with me. This is important. Let's talk about monitoring progress. There are 2 things you need to invest in. And they're going to run you maybe $20 tops, but you need to do this if you want to be precise. If you want to build, if you want precision between the muscle you are building and staving off fat gain, you have to be precise. You have to monitor changes in your body. This has to be somewhat scientific. Therefore, you need to purchase 2 things. You need to purchase a tape measure and you need to purchase a skin fold caliper. Now, you can go on Amazon.com and purchase a skin fold caliper for under $20, and a tape measure is cheap. You can get that at Walmart or wherever. Now, each month, I want you to take caliper readings and I want you to take tape measure readings. Measure around the center of your guns, okay, around your quad, about 1 inch below your balls. Feel where your balls are, but don't get too frisky with yourself. Drop that level about 1 inch and then measure your quads right around there. I want you to at least be measuring your arms and your quads. If you can, to measure your forearms, measure your calves as well. Do this every month and take 3 readings at every location so you can get an average. You need to be monitoring your arm size and your leg size, and you need to write it down so you're not guessing, saying, I don't think I'm gaining muscle. A lot of times, you can add only 1 inch, and I say only 1 inch on your arms is a lot, but you might be adding 1 inch on or 1/2 inch on your arm, and you might think, I'm not really gaining arm size, but when you take a tape measure, you find you've gained 1/2 inch on your arms. So no guessing is allowed here, okay? We're all adults. It's time to man up. It's time to stop the guessing. You need to tape measure these muscle groups every month. Don't panic. If the first month you're not seeing much in the way of growth, monitor it for 3-4 months, okay? And then make calorie adjustments as needed if you're gaining weight too slowly or if you find you're gaining muscle at a rapid pace. Now, with the skin fold caliper, it's not rocket science, and we're not using it. We're not using the skin fold caliper to guesstimate your body fat percentage. What we want to use it for is it's going to do a pinch, okay? It's going to do a pinch on your skin. It's going to take a look at your skin fold. You want to do that in 3 times in each area to get an average. We're going to be monitoring your body fat changes by looking at the skin fold measurements. If your skin fold levels are going up by millimeter and millimeter and millimeter, you know you're eating too aggressively and packing on too much fat. At that point, you need to make a dietary adjustment, okay? If you're not seeing any change in that millimeter level, that's good. That means you're not gaining any fat while you're gaining muscle mass. This skin fold, by using a skin fold caliper, you can monitor changes in your body fat, outside of the realm of what is my overall body fat percentage. You can monitor changes in your body fat, because this measurement is going to be in millimeters. If it changes, if it starts to increase month in and month out, you probably have a problem and you're gaining fat too quickly. So again, get a tape measure, get a skin fold caliper, measure every month. Don't do this every day or every week. You'll drive yourself crazy. Measure every month, and you're going to need to change your diet accordingly based on if you find yourself gaining rapidly. It might be beneficial to eat more aggressively. Okay, we got all this stuff out of the way. How much muscle to expect the first several years, how to monitor your progress. Let's talk a little bit about diet. we're at the 15-minute mark in this video, and I don't have time to get into the structuring of a complete diet. I will say this, though. You need a minimum of 150 grams of protein per day. I personally recommend 180 to 220 grams a day because I like to balance my diet more and because I like meat and protein more than carbs. So I would say my advice to you, if I was training you, I'd have you go at least for that 180 gram mark and somewhere between 180 to 220. You want about, if you're a younger guy, you want your fats to be about 30 to 35% of your overall diet. If you're an older guy, over 35, you probably want to eat more of a fat-centric, less carb-heavy diet because a lot of us have eaten so many processed foods over the years, so much crap foods. We're probably a little bit insulin resistant, and we probably don't handle the carbs as well with age. So I would probably, if you're older, eat 35 to 40%. Start with about 35 to 40% of your diet from fats, and you might have to make some adjustments from there. So eat. If you're a young guy, eat about 80% of your calories from clean foods. And what do I mean from clean foods? I mean one ingredient foods. Beef, chicken, eggs, milk, cheese, things that don't have a lot of ingredients like processed foods. Stay away from a lot of the processed foods. Eat about 80% clean. You can save about 20% of your calories for a Pop-Tart or a bag of Doritos here or there, or some pizza on the weekend or whatever. If you're a younger guy who tends to gain fat very easily, make that 90%, okay? Only 10% of your daily calories are allowed to be from non-clean, healthy, one-ingredient foods. So if you're eating 3,000 calories a day, you only get 300 calories a day of junk. That could be a small little bag of Doritos or whatever. If you're an older guy, stick to that 90%, where you eat only 10% of your daily or weekly calories from junk. Now, you could accrue these calories and save them for a big weekend meal. Like we just had Thanksgiving, you could have saved those junk calories for a big Thanksgiving meal and have some pie or 2 pieces of pie. Or you could save them, for a weekly event like a birthday party or family gathering, an office gathering, or a donut at the office or whatever. I don't really care. But you want to make sure that you're eating around these percentages and that you're eating mostly clean, healthy foods that are not only rich in quality macronutrients, the protein and fats you need, but also in the micronutrients, which are the vitamins and minerals you need. How many calories do you need? Well, that depends on the individual. If you're a very young guy with a fast metabolism, 16 and 24 years old, you probably, I would say, start about 3,000 calories and then watch the scale, watch your Skinfold calipers, watch your readings, your arm readings. You might need to dial it up 100, 200. You might need to go as high as 3,500, but dial it up slowly from that point. If you are a younger guy but tend to accrue fat very rapidly, I would start at 2,800 to 3,000 calories, mostly clean, lean foods, and watch the scale. You might need to make calorie adjustments from there. If you're an older guy, over 35 years old, 35 to 50 or older, I would probably, if you're naturally thin, start about 2,800 calories per day. If you're a little bit pudgy and probably a little bit insulin sensitive, probably start 2,600 calories a day. These are just starting points, guys. It's hard to generalize for everybody, but the starting point, the numbers don't really matter. You need to have some form of a starting point, no matter how you get there, no matter if you use a calculator or guess. Just remember, these are starting points. You're going to be monitoring your arm size for muscle growth. You're going to be monitoring your Skinfold calipers. You're going to be monitoring your fat using Skinfold calipers to monitor fat growth or fat gains. So you're going to have to make adjustments from these starting points. Now, regarding the calipers, I forgot one thing. You can measure up here at a horizontal angle right under your armpit. So right about there, okay? Horizontal angle under your armpit, right about there. That's where I measure. I also do mid-thigh. If you're looking at your thigh coming down, boom, I pinch it like that. And I tend to pinch on the side of my waist over here. Boom, 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 boom. Those are the 3 spots that I pinch at. You can check online. You don't need to pinch a lot of spots. Wherever you pick, guys, just pick spots that you can come back to and remember easily. Guys tend to gain fat up here and in their belly, so it's a good idea to take a chest reading, and it's a good idea to take some kind of a gut reading. That'll give you a really solid understanding or a view if you are gaining too much fat. So guys, I know this has been a long video, but it's an important topic. Too many guys bulk aggressively and get sloppy fat. I wanted to give you some kind of a base to get started with so you didn't run into these issues. So guys, I hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, and you probably do, there's a Q&A link below. Come on over, post your questions in that Q&A. I answer every question posted. And if you've made it this far in this video, I encourage you to please subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'm going to have some gains. I can feel myself growing.